Welcome to Families Are First Teachers, a video series designed to support families who are supporting learners at home. Lately, many families are finding themselves having to help their children navigate remote schoolwork. Some caregivers say they're feeling like substitute teachers for their own child these days. However, what we know about families is that they are children's first and often best teachers. These short videos are designed by experts in curriculum and instruction, behavior, and special education from Summit Educational Service Center and State Support Team Region 8, with the goal of empowering family members for the new teaching roles they find themselves in.
Hi, this is Andrea Patt from the Summit Educational Service Center. I am a curriculum consultant in the Curriculum Instruction Department of the ESC. Today I'm going to talk to you about tips for talking to your kids about elections. I know as the elections have grown near that my own two children have started to ask more and more questions about the signs that they're seeing in people's yards. So I thought it'd be a great idea to compile some tips that parents can talk about with their own children. One thing to think about is your child's age. Be aware that depending on their age, children have most likely heard about the election from a number of sources, such as other family members, friends at school, the media, school in general, depending if the school is talking about that issue. And then get a sense of what your children are hearing from various sources and make sure that you can handle it from some adult support. Share basic election concepts with your children. Voting is an idea that young children can grasp and that you can incorporate into family life in simple ways. For example, you can vote on which restaurant you want to order takeout from. This gives an idea of winning and losing because depending on how you vote, they could lose, and you can talk about ways to handle that. With older children who have already had some knowledge of the government and presidential elections, you can move on to more advanced concepts like the Electoral College and the popular vote. I will be giving you more information about this later in the presentation. Give them vocabulary. Talk about what it means to live in a democracy. It's a place where people choose, which means they vote on how they want things to work by making official election decisions. We all have rights, and to keep these rights, we have to have responsibilities. Our laws are the rules, and our representatives' legislation means that they make the rules officially based on our input. So children kind of get an idea that we elect representatives who vote on our behalf. Some great websites that you and your children can look at online is one from the Washington Post. There is an article called "Go Vote and Take Your Kids with You." I know this year is going to be a little different, but if you're doing a mail-in vote, you can show them the process of doing your mail-in vote and sending it through the mail. Kids.gov also has some great articles about the election process. PBS parents, you can talk to kids about the presidential election. And then there's a website called Social Studies for Kids. They also have articles on how the president is elected and the idea of the Electoral College for older kids. One important thing to do as parents is to always model positive thought and thoughtful participation. Positive democratic ideals are imperative to overcome cynicism and to work for change when it's needed. When you share your thoughts and feelings about candidates with your children, try to avoid negative generalizations and instead be specific about what you do or don't like. For example, I see this candidate says X, but I believe Y. Or I'm not sure that's right. Why don't we look at some sources to see what they say? One of the standards in social studies is to look at multiple sources to find information and to not rely on only one to receive your information. You can also help your children begin to see the complexity of issues and learn critical thinking skills when you focus on explaining your thoughts rather than only expressing a judgment. So the idea is the more positive you are and more thoughtful, the more thoughtful and positive your children will become. Always be aware of what you say around your children. Children always pick up on adults' emotions, even if they don't understand the issue that are being discussed. Try to avoid language that makes it seem like voting isn't worth it or labeling a particular candidate as the lesser of two evils. If you do become upset by something you see or hear in the moment, be sure to explain why you feel the way you do. Don't leave children to process it on their own. You can start by saying something like, I know I sound upset, but I want to tell you a little bit why. Children definitely pick up on your emotions and they convey it to other people. Older children. Parents might help older children begin to distinguish between arguments that appeal to the audience's emotions versus those that appeal to their reason. So when looking at things like political ads, you can start to look at, okay, was that candidate using the viewer's emotions to gain support? Were they giving what looked like false information? Looking at multiple sources is helpful with that as well. Help your child recognize the difference between attacking an opponent's personal character and criticizing an opinion or argument. Take the conversation a step further by asking your children what strategy they think is most effective when looking at political ads or debates. You can also watch political movies or past ads. A website called Common Sense Media has an extensive list of political movies that you can sort through by age appropriateness. There's also a website called The Living Room Candidate. It's compiled all the presidential campaign commercials from 1952 to 2012. Your kids actually might get a kick out of watching some of these older ads because they can help them think critically about political messages by comparing commercials in the past and how successful they are, and also maybe comparing ads from the past to past right now in the present. Some information sources that were used to compile this information are listed above. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy talking to your own kids about the election process and what it means to be an American.
And that concludes this module of the Families Are First Teachers video series. Thank you for joining us. If you found this video helpful, you can find additional ones just like it on the Summit ESC YouTube channel. Just visit YouTube and search for Summit ESC. There you'll find additional videos on self-care and social emotional needs, supports for diverse learners, developing a growth mindset, and academic content supports. We hope these videos provide some new ideas, resources, and tips for supporting your learners at home and in life. Thank you for all that you do.